Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from books to movies to video games, and applying the characters within into the tabletop game, Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Today, though, we're going to be looking at a core mechanic of D&D itself. Specifically, we're going to be looking at a subclass of the wizard, the School of Abjuration. The School of Abjuration is a school that's dedicated to the magics of defense, counterspell, and spell redirection. The idea behind the school is that you are an expert when it comes to defensive magic. But how does it stack up mechanically to the other wizards? Let's have a look. Now, the Abjuration wizard, as with all other wizards, get this ability where they can copy spells of Abjuration type into their book for cheaper, and it takes them less time. All wizards get this. This is not an expanded spell list by any means, but it's comparable, but it only applies to spells in your school. I don't really count this ability as part of the subclass. Again, all wizards get it, just dedicated to their school. But the first ability they get at level 2 is the Arcane Ward. Once per long rest, you can cast an Abjuration spell, and it creates an Arcane Ward, which will set a number of temporary hit points for you that's equal to your level plus your intelligence modifier. This temporary hit points makes you a lot less squishy, and although you can only cast it once per long rest, when you cast an Abjuration spell, it takes twice the spell's level and adds that back to your ward. So you can keep recharging it in the middle of a fight by using things like shield or counterspell or what have you. This is a pretty handy ability that gives the wizards a lot more survivability, so I give this an 8 out of 10. Then at level 6, you get Projected Ward. This means that you can use your Arcane Ward up to 30 feet away by basically projecting those temporary hit points and using them to block damage for an ally that's 30 feet from you. Use your reaction for this, and it's kind of interesting that the wizard is the one protecting people. Usually it's the tank or the damage soaker that's trying to protect the wizard, but this kind of flips the idea on its head. Personally, I can only see you doing this if you're trying to save a life or protect another spellcaster, but it's not bad. 8 out of 10 again. Then you get Improved Abjuration. Anytime you use an ability check that involves Abjuration, you can add your proficiency bonus to it. This specifically is noted in the book to be referred to as using Counterspell, because Counterspell is an ability check, not a spell DC check that's on your side. You have to make an ability roll in order to overcome your enemy's DC, depending on the level of the spell you're trying to counter. Adding your proficiency modifier to it gives you a good buff to counterspell when you have to try to counterspell something that's higher than you can just auto undo. It's nice, honestly. I give it a 9 out of 10. Then finally, at level 14, you get Spell Resistance. You get advantage on saving throws against spells, and you get resistance to damage from spells. In general, this is an absolutely broken power that certain races get. They get the magical resistance feature, but this actually takes it a step further. Even if you fail a saving throw, you still have resistance against the damage. So it's win-win. You either succeed a saving throw and take half damage, which then gets quartered because of your resistance, or you miss your saving throw and you get resistance anyway. This is 10 out of 10 territory and is one of the greatest wizard capstone features out there. It's fantastic. Overall, the Abjuration Wizard's a 9 out of 10. It definitely gets more powerful as time goes on. The Arcane Ward gets stronger as your level goes up. As your spells get more powerful, you can recharge the ward better. Obviously, being able to get magic resistance at level 14 is just fantastic. Abjuration Wizard's a good pick. It's very defensively focused, and you still have the entire wizard spell list at your disposal, so you can be as powerful as you need to be. But having that little bit of extra health, that little bit of extra defense, just makes the wizard that little much better. and tweaks them over to being one of the better wizards in the game. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.